Hey, everybody. From my heart to yours. How we doing today, December 22nd? Well, for me, I'm still feeling very sensitive. So what I've been finding is dislodging of blockages that have been going on, which I was calling, spiritual decongesting. So it's in my emotional house. It's in my physical house. It's in my mental house. And it's just coming up to be released. And so sometimes it comes up in this sensitive tearfulness that could be interpreted for a lot of other things, but really it boils down to the love I'm feeling for self and the love for self that I'm feeling in others, which is then a theme of our boundaries, our borders, and taking up swords to define them and to fight for them. And so I'm speaking individually and I'm speaking collectively. And so when we're opening up all of this, we're feeling vulnerable. And not only are we feeling vulnerable, we're feeling like I'm angry with myself for participating in this behavior, or allowing myself to be taken advantage of, or feeling one way or another. And so then you begin to douse your shiat onto other people because you're really trying to define your borders and your boundaries. So it comes down to really listening. Are you being listened to? Are people hearing? And why is it that some of us have to get angry in order for someone else to actually hear what it is we are saying and what we're expressing and what we feel like we've been saying and expressing, but we feel someone's not really listening. So then we blow our top. And then the person that happens to be in front of us or a situation that's in front of us gets flooded with all this backed up congestion that we've had. So I would encourage each of us to just take a step back. Take a step back and just to allow things to unfold and to accept our participation in all that we have done and contributed to who we are in this moment, so that we respond versus react to situations that present. Also, it's bringing up having the courage to speak up, regardless of how it's being received by another person, group, whatever. But having the courage to remove yourself from situations that no longer serve and to speak up about situations that no longer serve. And sometimes it might be taking the axe to the cord and walking away. And sometimes it might be, hey guys, I've been chiseling at this, but I'm cutting it now. You're on your own. I can no longer allow myself to be a contributor or sponsor of any of this that's going on, no matter what that situation is. I, for one, recently had taken an additional course and it cost me thousands of dollars. I took the exam and it was nothing of what I expected. And then when I got my certificate, I was very disappointed in what it looked like, but I was also disappointed in the wording that said basic. And I'm like, I poured my time, my talent, and my treasury into that course. And for once, I proudly wanted to display it in my office. And I felt embarrassed by it. So I had to speak up. And the response I got was more of a generic customer service. Thank you, your feedback is valuable. We will take this into consideration in the future when we decide to change something. So I felt discarded. Here I was on a personal level with this group that I was studying with, and now I'm just a chit. I'm just a chit in the bucket of many chits. You know, it's like, what just happened here? So I waited about 48 hours, and then I just mentioned something to the group about my feelings and my disappointment. And there was a small part of me that thought, maybe I should say nothing because the repercussions could be rough. And then something said, no, you need to let it go. You've said it in a way that's diplomatic. You've said it in a way that's about your feelings. You've also said my intentions are not to create a feed of comments or complaints. So I'm hoping no one jumps on the bandwagon and this becomes a roller coaster of crazy. So I had to let it go with blessings and love because I felt it was part of my boundaries. It was part of my borders. It was part of being heard. Now, I think a lot of this is going to roll over into 2024 because many people are not on the fast track. And so this is going to be an individual, group, and collective issue that's going to continue to roller coaster, especially when we come closer to the elections here in the States next fall. So just know that your individual boundary border system needs to be intact. And you need to be heard, and then you also need to hear others. So this is a two-way street of communication. You need to listen, and you need to be listened to. So what you want to receive, you're going to need to learn to give. And so this is all part of this spiritual decongesting. It's all part of using your spiritual athletic tools of learning how to communicate from the inside out. Take the outside information, bring it in, swirl it around with your God source. Learn to use different listening ears, eyes, sensories, and then bring that information back out if you're called to. But don't let it get all stuck and bound up here because you're not being heard, or you feel you're not being heard. Remember the old saying, people may not remember what you say, but you will remember how they made you feel. You may not remember what people said, but you will remember how you felt. And you're talking to somebody who's a #1 feeler. You know, if feeling was a slug, then I'm slugging all around, gathering up information through all the feelers of my body, on the ground and in the air and everywhere else, through the waters. You know, go back and watch my video on water and reconstructing the water within your system, because you're working with different programs of information that's coming in through the divine light that has been pouring onto the planet for some time, but it's been accelerated in the last few weeks. So some of you may feel different and you don't know how you feel different, but you're also being called to either let certain things go that no longer pertain and don't really need much of your response to it because you're just kind of done with it, you know, next. And then there's some that it's triggering old wounds of being heard, boundaries, borders, your lines of defense and offense. Both teams have to work synergistically to make it a game, my friends. And this is the game of life. So get your defense and get your offense and get them working synergistically so that this game has more abundance, more security, a firmer platform, grounding within the body and knowing who thyself is through the process of listening and being heard. So if you're being called to stand up for yourself, Ask yourself, what's this about? Where is it coming from? Who would be my prime directive? Like, I could go over here and talk to all these other people, but really who I'm trying to talk to is somebody over here because they need to hear me. And so this may come in the ending of many, many relationships. And that's okay, because people need to be dispersed so that they can go off and find their own way, their own tribes, their own lessons. And you can't just keep holding on to the same groups of people. So relationships, the boundaries and the borders of relationships will change interpersonally, personally within your family and group and friend dynamics, your work dynamics, and it will continue through the globe. Okay? So don't get on the runaway train. Get off of it. Get to know thyself. Learn, where are my boundaries and my borders? Where are my comfort lines? And where does my comfort lie? And is this the right person to direct it to? And am I directing it in a way that's actually being heard, or is it becoming offensive or defensive to the other person? Okay. My mom always said, it's not what you say, it's how you say it. It's not what you say, it's how you say it. And it's not what you've heard, it's how you feel. And if how you feel is coming from someone else's words, is it coming from them, or is it something that's in your subconscious that is just a magnet to, and then it just, because it's unresolved borders and boundaries, and that hasn't learned to communicate for resolution. If I can help you in any way, it's what I'm trained in. embodimentofthesoul.com. Please like, subscribe, and share this video. And for those of you who've been consistent with your comments, I want you to know it just fills my heart every time I see the steady eddies out there, making sure I get a comment, making sure these videos are circulated. I appreciate you. Thank you for hearing me, and I hear you through your actions. All right? So much love. See you on the next video.